What's up, guys? This is the House of Fame podcast. We got another important one that's going to be happening today. I got some really important people I've been following for a while. I actually look up to this guy. I feel like he's under the radar, just low-key making his bread. Got a really big company, security company that is, Fast Guard Services. I got my two guys here. I got Dwight, and I got Rod, Mr. Payne right here. How y'all guys doing?
Excellent.
Pretty good. Appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, man. So, hey, listen, I'm going to get straight down to the business, man. I know we ran into each other quite some time in the past because we kind of worked in the same security. I know, do we both work for Live at? I don't know if we worked for Live at the same time. But
I think we were there. So I was there from 2011 to 2014. And I think you were there for a short little time in between that, right?
Yeah. So I was there for about a year and some change. And then right from there, I got my first private security account, and then
I think I seen you the second time with Birdman now.
That was the count. That's what it was. So in 2002, I came in 2011 at Live, and then I got that count in 2012, and that's when everything just went up. But guys, I know you guys got an extensive background. How did you even get into this field, and what did you do before this?
Well, before this, I was in law enforcement. So I was a police. I started in law enforcement in 2010. And then I tried to do some like small club stuff, but it really didn't work out. And then I got a buddy of mine introduced me to the guys that were running Live at the time. And they was like, man, we can get you a job over here. And I was like, man, I ain't never worked security or nothing like that. It was at the Fountain Blue at first. Yeah. And I was like, okay. I went in there and worked. And I think when they told me the amount they was going to pay, it was like $11.75. And I'm like, I'm a police officer. I got a college degree.
Yep.
I said, okay, I'll do it. I was there maybe a month, and then a guy stepped to me and was like, hey, you ever supervised at a club? I was like, no. He said, we just had to let a bunch of guys go. We want to bring you in as a supervisor. I said, okay. And then once I got in there, I started seeing the real insides and outs. Like, Live is a bunch of events. It's really an event space.
Yeah.
So I got to see, like, when they're doing Versace or a private party for this billionaire or, I got to meet a lot of people. I got to meet Prince Harry and all these people. And then I started seeing the bill rates of the security. And I was like, I'm getting paid at that time $17. I had moved up a little bit. Yeah. $17. And these guys are building $150 per hour. I was hooked in. I was already in law enforcement. I was already thinking about it. Then I started kind of looking at how to start my own security thing. And then from there, it accelerated from 2013 when we started till about 2018 when we had a really big hit. We did the fires in California. We had already been doing run and gun type security throughout that whole time, and then that job came and was like the icing on the cake. It was like about $15 million in revenue. Okay. So it was like a big jump. So I got my experience kind of on the road. I had to jump in, and as I was a police officer, doing it on the side, kind of moonlighting. And then I retired from law enforcement in 2021.
Well, let me ask you a question because there's a lot of pros and cons as far as the law enforcement. I was too in law enforcement as well. I did have a lot of debates when I started talking about that as far as coming from a law enforcement background and going into the security field, whether it's private contracts or whatever. And there was a lot of backlash about it because people had their own opinions. What do you think you've learned that accommodated you being in law enforcement, that you were able to transfer it to the security field? Because some people feel like it can't relate that way. Even the same thing as far as military, they feel like, okay, the military doesn't work because they're structured this certain type of way. And I feel like it does work. I'm like, yo, they're used to following orders, used to a chain of command, used to, okay, they got an itinerary for a client or whatever. They got an objective to do. They finish the objective. They may not be the most talkative people, for the most part. But as far as the law enforcement world, do you think you were able to translate it, or did it have some type of components that helped you levitate to the security world? Because you moved up quick.
Well,
I'll get to you in 1 second.
Well, I think that the biggest thing is you have to be organized. In law enforcement, you have to be on time. You got to be dressed correctly. You remember in law enforcement, police academy, talk about gig line, and same as military. Being on time, being ready to deal with whatever comes, because, you know, when you go in as a police officer, anything can happen. It can be anything from a cat stuck in a tree to a bomb going off. So you don't know how your shift is going to go. And I think that type of readiness and that type of, you remember on the football field, I also played football. Being on the football field, you learn to keep your head on the swivel. You have to, doing anything with a badge or a uniform. So I think that law enforcement prepared me for this perfectly. We've done, you're talking about, FastGuard is almost at 500 million in estimates sent out. So, you know, over 1 million security guard hours have been worked through this company. So it's quite a bit of accomplishments that we've had in all this time. And I kind of attribute it mostly to my experience in law enforcement. Mine is that. I think the discipline, the learning how to deal with things as they come, putting out fires, always standing up. I don't pass the buck. If something happens, even today, something happens with my company, I'll get on the phone, speak to a client, deal with it, even if it's them cussing me out. And who's your boss? I want to speak to your boss. Well, I'll relay the message. Just, you know, let me know what you need. And,
very proactive.
You have to be involved, and you have to be willing to get in the mix. I think that the reason why a lot of people aren't successful in business, period, is because they have no idea what a schedule is all about. And military, law enforcement, football teaches you all of these things. You have to be willing to wake up and do what's hard. Go do 100 push-ups, do 1,000 jumping jacks, run until your tongue falls, you know. And we've been trained like that, so I think it's all apropos for the business. Not saying that if you weren't a police officer, you can't get into the business. I mean, Dwight's not a police officer, and he's excellent in the business. But
Dwight, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's the same training as all I was going to finish with.
Absolutely. Dwight, how did you get into this business, and what did you do before you got into the security field?
So I was in the material handling world. So most people don't know what that is, but every single thing that we use and that's around us got here by a truck, and those trucks have to be unloaded. So I provided, sold, installed loading dock equipment.
Okay.
So that's primarily commercial customers, and, you know, he and I have known each other for a long time, and a lot of the times when we're in conversation, he'll mention someone that they're doing business with, and I was like, oh, I know them, I do business with them. So that started to happen quite a bit, where we were doing business with the same people, doing business with the same customers, and then every once in a while something that happened on a job site that I was on, and I call him, hey, these guys need a fire watch. You know what a fire watch is? Yeah, we do fire watch. Explain to me what a fire watch is. I learned what a fire watch was. We hired them for a job. A lot of the jobs we do, sometimes we had a gig where we were doing, it was 74 doors for a check cashing store, and they had to hire security. They had their own security team at the time, so we didn't get to cross-sell in that situation. But what we both learned was, well, I have a skill. I'm good in business. I'm good in sales. I'm great with communication. He's good in business. He's good in sales. He's good in communication. We're both dealing with the same customers, so we decided to partner up, and then we can build some synergy and then take the show on the road, so to speak, and then do both businesses simultaneously and just grow from there.
Well, the same thing I said when I met you. We started talking. You was like, I played football. I was a police officer. So it's like I met him on the football field. I think we were 11 or 12?
12 years old.
12 years old.
So y'all got some.
Yeah, we played at the Boynton Beach Bulldogs together, like Powell League. So, like, again, this is one of my best friends, but it's a great thing that we also can do business because I bought every friend I've ever had into business. Just so you know, like, I've been open since 2013, so now we pushing like 12 years.
Nice.
And I bought every friend in. Not every friend is going to be up to the challenge, staying up all night, sleeping in weird places, sometimes not sleeping 24 hours at a time. Sometimes you get in shootouts and security. You know, all of these things happen.
We're definitely going to talk about a little bit about that stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about that stuff. Definitely, I want to get into that topic. But as far as you guys having that compatibility as being partners, which is a great thing, because you know I'm still fairly. I ain't gonna say I'm not fairly new in my business because I had my business for like 6 years. But as far as running it correctly, because it was a little bit opposite for me, because when I got into the field, I was putting like homeboys on and stuff like that. And I learned that everybody that's your homeboy that you grew up with is not compatible for what type of business and the discipline that you have. So I had, like, my business partner, he's not here with me because he's working another contract right now with me. His traits are different. I came in a different approach because it didn't work for me the way y'all guys did it, because y'all have the same alpha male. When I did like that, it was a whole bunch of bumping heads. It was like, no, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. No. So I found someone that they were good at this thing, and I was good at this thing. I'm a good voice speaker, like a motivational speaker. I'm good at talking to people. I'm a great leader, you know what I'm saying? But notice the things that I did lack in, because you can't have, some people just don't have all checks on the board. So there was things I lacked in, so I was like, okay, finance is not my best, you know what I'm saying? The billing, you know what I'm saying? I know how to do the regular, I know how to do regular invoices. But when it comes to like structuring it to where you're getting big contracts and you're getting them huge numbers that I just started getting, then it gets a little complicated and you start working a percentage. I'm like, oh, damn, okay, that's where my guy comes along, you know what I'm saying? And he has his own perks that he's good at too as well. So I think that's a great thing.
That's one of the things I admire the most about Trump.
Yeah.
Is that he knows what he doesn't know. And he brings people in to do it.
And that's exactly what I do. So I build my table. Everybody has their own certain trait that they do. I got my trait. I know exactly what I'm good at. I know exactly what this guy's good at. I don't jump in his lane and try to be like, no, I'm the boss. No, you're good at this. I trust you, and I believe you do this one thing and just follow through with it. Now, I know I just spoke about like security contracts, and that's one thing I really was looking at you about, because I feel like I'm new to the security contracts. My whole career, I want to say like 80%, probably more than that, 85% of my career, private security. So I only had to really focus on myself. I had to do invoices for myself, or maybe one or two other people that may be with me with a client, 2 clients or whatever. But these last 3 years, I just got into doing contracts, residential, industrial. Didn't hit the clubs quite yet like that. I got offered, I remember a long time ago, I got cold feet because I knew I didn't have all my ducks in a row, which was, nobody knew it was, and this was right before it blew up, it was booby trap on the river. Yeah, it was booby trapping. Yeah, thank God. We know what happened after the fact, years down the road. But no, before it was booby trap on the river. Like they just became booby trap on the river. I knew the owner personally. He called me personally and he was like, "Yo, this is the setup. This is how I wanted it going to be. Yeah, I can do it. Got cold feet. I'm like, dang, I don't know. I started learning insurance because I know that's a big part. Big part. I know you really can't carry. No, not really. You can't have your firearm inside the club, correct. So you got to be outside the club. So that part, I feel like he probably didn't really know. So basically, I'm like, hey, bro, I can't do it like that. You got to have it outside.
Listen, clubs, it's not if, but when.
Yeah.
So anytime you put alcohol, women, and guys there,
something's always gonna pop off.
It's gonna happen. And so, like strip clubs, that's how we got into the business. At one point, we had every strip club in Broward and Miami-Dade.
Explain that, because this is the part where go ahead.
We were going around. We got a call about doing one strip club, which was the King of Diamonds at the time. Yeah. And they were like, "Oh, we need security. It's gonna be temporary. We're firing the company tonight." I said, "Okay, cool. We'll come out there." And we was like, "We need to get paid every night." So we ended up having to be out there for the first few nights. It's like, okay, it ain't that bad. This was during Memorial Day weekend. So this was when Lil Wayne came out with the song. He said, "Live on Sunday, King of Diamonds Monday."
So he was there in his prime.
The whole world was there. And so what ended up happening is that third night was like 10,000, 20,000 people that came through there that couldn't get in. The police had to come shut it down. So many things happened that night. We were out there in the parking lot trying to get people out of the building. A dancer ran over a kid. This was like the very next day. That Sunday, a guy pulled out an AR-15 and started cranking off rounds out in the parking lot, drunk. And then we went and pulled out on him. Hey, put the gun down. We didn't want to shoot nobody our first couple of days. And he said, "Those are BB guns." And we had to make a decision. We had to go grab him, take the gun from him. It was ridiculous. The police couldn't even get in. They couldn't get into the club because it was so jam-packed. So, like I said, not if, but when all of this stuff was going on within hours of each other. And we're out there running around like chickens with our head cut off. And, of course, the club owner didn't tell us to bring enough guys. It was, we only need 10 guys. Keep in mind, 20,000 people in and out of this location. I think it fit 5,000 on the inside. So when the roads got gridlocked, people started fighting in cars and doing all kind of stuff, and you start learning about liability. Like the second week we learned, like, oh man, somebody got stabbed almost a half a mile from the club as a result of the traffic, and they came back to us with a lawsuit saying this person got stabbed, and even though it happened off property, you guys are still responsible because the law, it's crazy. So
hence the prices for those type of situations. So
the price is pretty much
a lot of the times when you're dealing with contracts, people want the lowest price, but sometimes you can't be competitive. So when you get into a bidding match or a price match and someone says, Joe Blow quoted us this amount, well, then when you get into that deeper conversation with the client, you find out that Joe Blow doesn't have an office, doesn't have overhead,
he's running the business from his back seat of his car,
and doesn't have insurance. That's why Joe Blow can charge you $19 an hour to do that kind of work. But that's a whole nother episode if we get in.
But
get too far
to
down
end the
that
thing
rabbit
with
hole.
the strip clubs, like it's like you get dancers that pass out on the inside. We had to bring people out. Like we learning all of this on the fly. We learned so quickly that Monday, Memorial Day weekend, everything's over. We had got hit with fraud. We had a bodyguard detail that guys we were bodyguarding. They paid us via credit card like $180,000 in bodyguard and cars. It was just a crazy weekend, and that was our introduction to strip clubs. People seen us out there and how well we performed without incident. They called us Vegas Cabaret. They called us from the club off 79th used to be Take One. The one they called us from everywhere, and that's how we kind of like bled into the whole night scene. And then it was shootout after shootout. And then people started dropping like real lawsuits. It wasn't just, demand letters. It was like real lawsuit subpoenas. You got to do depositions. You got to go out and get attorneys and pay for protection. And it's like, whoa, we're just making $5 off this thing. Let's slow it down. So we kind of backed out of that. One of our guards that got shot somebody. I think they dropped 48 rounds on the car. I talk about it all the time on our cast.
Damn, hold on. So, wait a minute. Your guard dropped 48 rounds?
Mm-hmm.
What was
the scenario? The car was backing out, pulled out, ran into a car. Backed out again, ran into another car. Backed out again, and the guard jumped in front of the car and said, stop. Tried to open the door, pull him out. He was drunk. The guy, when they opened the door, has a gun on his lap. He hits the gas, runs into another car, lifts the car up off the ground. At that time, another guard steps in front of the car as he's trying to back out again. He runs over the guard. The guard gets off the ground, starts dumping rounds, and then another guard beside him had a scorpion. You know what a scorpion is? Like had a scorpion, started dumping rounds. So altogether, 48 rounds. They shot up everybody's car that was on that side, shot up the side of the walls on the club, the food stand, and everything on the way out. They hit his car 18 times. They hit him twice, once in the arm and once in the neck.
Who won that battle? Like who? Because it seemed like it was multiple lawsuits.
I don't know who won.
Nobody won
lost.
that battle.
Everybody took a damn. Hey, guys, everybody. Moral of the story: everybody took a damn L on that situation. So don't even ask about those questions. No more.
People I never even heard of was calling us about car windows. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And you take a loss like that, and it's that they considered it negligence because it was so many rounds. In Florida, you can't shoot at a fleeing felon. And all of the rules that, like you were talking about, going inside with the guns and all that stuff, everybody kind of blends those rules. Sometimes things happen, you run inside, but that shooting at a fleeing felon, and the number one rule for all you security guards out there, if y'all really want to be focused and do the business the right way, never talk to anybody until you talk to your attorney. You have 3 days, just like a law enforcement officer. You don't have to say anything. They have laws against spontaneous utterance. You don't have to say anything. So, you get guys that are we showed up on scene. We said, don't say anything till we get there. And I come there and I see a guy in the back seat with a detective with a microphone in his face giving a statement. And then they arrested him as soon as he stepped out of the car for attempted murder. I'm like, what attempted murder? Attempted murder. They dropped a heavy charge on him. And then they couldn't get the cameras. They couldn't get the DVR.
Yeah.
So a couple of days later, it got dropped. But that was what was on the news.
No, go ahead.
The insurance carrier called us and said, hey, were you guys involved in the shooting? We were. Did you report it? We were about to. It happened Sunday. We were going to call you guys. We got to get everything together. Okay, well, you guys are dropped. And you need to get us all the information and police report number and everything now. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's intense with the whole insurance thing. And that's something that I've been had insurance. but I just know that, the more contracts you get, the more that insurance gets real tough. I've never been having club security contracts or anything like that, but speaking about that, I just reached into this residential, which is a lot more, it depends on where you have it at. But I know that's the branch that I've been getting off on, so I've been getting multiple, I have multiple residential contracts and industrial. So, look, I look at it like this. Everybody here, when you look at social media, everybody wants to be in the bodyguard world, per se, or private security. This, as crazy as it sounds, I've never been involved in this, but I look at the bodyguard game / private security. I look at it as the dope game. Fast money, you're on the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? You're being seen. Fast cars, traveling the world and all that stuff. But it's just as quick as that come, it goes. And it's not guaranteed. You're not going to be with any client forever. So that being said, I look at the residential and industrial. You can even say clubs, if you get the right one. I look at it as that's the 9 to 5 to retirement plan. That's something that you can always live off of. You always got that residual going on. So that's how I start looking at everything. I've been in this whole bodyguard world for years. At a young age, trial and error. I learned everything off of a couple people, So it did evolve, which is it evolved in a good way. So by me knowing that, I'm starting to see the wear and tears. Now, I know you guys, especially you, Rod, I know you were more focused. You were talking about more focused on that sector. But I keep telling you, like, oh, bro, listen, you're in a perfect spot because that damn bodyguard world is so short-lived. And even if you don't use it as an example as the dope game, you can look at it as being in the NFL.
You get hurt.
Expectancy is 4 years.
Yeah, you get hurt, you blow a knee, you're out.
You're gonna be one of those. It's a rare time that you're gonna have one client or have multiple clients for 15 years. Like I said, I know multiple guys that are old, and I'm just seeing, I don't know if they got an exit strategy.
There's no retirement plan.
I'm seeing it slowly break them down. Gray hairs. And when I met them, they didn't have no gray hairs. Now they hitting 50, this and that, and I'm like, bro, I don't see myself doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, why do you think that is?
Why I think it is? They don't have their system set up properly. So I think they're just in the bodyguard world. That's all they see and that's all they know. Me, once I start seeing my body break down and I start seeing that, okay, when I was younger, I was loving traveling the world. Stuff. You get older, you start having kids. Listen, I set up my schedule where I only see I like to be home, being able on the weekends. I can see my son every. It wasn't like that. I missed my son's birth on tour, being on tour, couldn't get back in time. That scarred me for life. Like I don't have no memory of my son being born.
Right. And that's once in a lifetime.
That's once in a lifetime.
So can I break something down real quick? Security, you're trying to match liability. You're protecting the client from liability, and you got to come up with a price that's palatable to the client, right? At the same time, like you're talking about longevity with security, a contractual agreement is only as good as the people that are performing it, right? So the people that are successful in any business, you know why McDonald's is successful? Because they developed a system and they stick to that system and that system works. Allied Universal, the biggest employer in the world. Why? They have a system. So what all of us need to do, all of us, businesses, medium to large, to even small businesses, you have to master a system. That's the hardest thing. You have to have an imagination to actually create the logic that goes behind everything that you do per day, and it has to be systematic. Remember in law enforcement, they had you do your daily logs. In my department, several guys wouldn't do them or they would lie on them. They'll charge you with a felony for not having a daily log done because that's articulating everything you did during the day. So if they subpoena, hey, this officer wasn't in the city at this time, it should say that on your worksheet that you weren't in the city. If it says that you were doing something else, then you lied on it, then they're going to hold you accountable.
Absolutely.
And so that's the thing that separates the weak from the strong in security is how organized can you be?
That's another part where I say my business partner has it to where he keeps everything organized. And as far as the system that you were talking about, Allied, right? So I was in a bid for another account, which one of my right-hand man got. We were in the bid with the account. It was a super rich residential area in Fort Lauderdale. This was all him. I'm like, yo, this is all you, bro. You set this up. This is your face. You know what I'm saying? I'm just the guy, you know what I'm saying? I'm just I'm not gonna say the boss, but I'm just the guy that's overseeing everything. You got to close this deal.
You're the operator.
I came there to close the deal, but the deal was really for him because they liked him. I was just the kind of like the middleman talking. Long story short, my guy did his homework. We were in a bid with Ally. So my mind automatically said, "Damn, bro, Ally, dog, that's a fucking huge company.
They about to
bro.
drop the prices.
Compete? How we gonna compete with these guys?" I don't know how my dude did it. Hopefully, I don't get sued because of this. Hopefully, I don't get sued because
it could happen.
No. My boy got a hold. He found some way. He knew some inside of their proposals and how the whole thing was structured. And he saw it, and we both saw it. And I'm like, wait a minute. I mastered that whole structure of how that proposal was set up and how everything was set up. And that's how I carried my business. And that's how I was getting these residentials. But this was all through my guy. He saw how that was mastered, and he mastered it.
Yeah, why
we did it. We do the same proposal every single time. Boom, boom. Because when I saw it, I was like, it was like 20 pages. Like, bro, how the hell am I gonna fucking? My proposal's not 20 pages. We saw it, and we broke it down. We saw a lot of repetitiveness. I'm like, oh wait, man, this is a bunch of bullshit. It's just making it look good. Like, okay, this is the most important part, and then they got a bunch of 2-3 pages of bullshit, and then they got another most important part. I'm like, oh, this is how they doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I think at the end of the day, sometimes it's not big as what they seem of what it's being showed as, but they're big play. They're a big company. But like I said, I learned off of that.
Well, I'll give you another riddle that a lot of people haven't figured out.
I hope I don't get.
Yeah, this is just one riddle.
Yeah.
People call us all the time and say, hey, we need security tonight. Okay. How long you need it? Oh, for the next 30 days for sure. Okay. Our system, you have to pay up front. No, we net terms only. Okay. Are you willing to fill out a credit app? No. We're Walmart. Or we're this. We're that. We're a big company. We'll pay you guys. Word to the wise. The bigger the company it is, the more people that have to sign off on it for you to get paid. We were in a $500,000 deficit at a time when we weren't making $500,000 in payroll. And the customer just stopped answering the phone. And we got guys out there working. And that's why I said with the contractual stuff, you got to do what you got to do. All of that stuff that they had in that contract that you're speaking of is to protect them.
Yeah. So basically it wasn't a bunch of bullshit.
No, it's all.
It was just stuff
There's a bunch of stuff nobody wants to read.
Exactly.
So I'll just sign it.
Yeah.
But it ties you into making sure. The whole game of security is not, you can do the work. I can do the work. The big thing is, can you get paid? You know how many times we done had to go to people's locations and act crazy.
Yeah. And companies will kick back invoices if there's a zero out of place, if the date is wrong, if a name is misspelled.
And you can't do that on the corporate level. You're not going to, I use Walmart, but you're not going to a large corporation and I need to talk to somebody that's going to pay me now. Okay, sir, that's not handled here. It's in Oregon.
Yeah.
So now you're not going to go and knock on the door in Oregon. Now you have to send emails, and these people answer when they feel like it.
When it gets to them.
Yeah, when they feel like it might be a month. And so you got to make sure that all your ducks are in a row up front. That contractual agreement really is everything in security. If that's not sharp, it makes sure you have articulated what you're supposed to do. If the contract says you're supposed to shoot and kill people if they try to enter this door, never sign that. Yeah. Nobody's going to protect you on that. Insurance is going to drop you just for signing that.
Yeah.
So, these are little tips that you have to learn along the way. Waivers of subrogation. People brought those up. Liquidated damages. Anytime you see that, it's a red flag. You shouldn't sign anything until you really understand. Like liquidated damages, for instance. Okay, Kevin, I want you to watch this parking lot. There's 500 cars here. This place is 10 miles large. Just you, one guy. But
we also have 2 buildings we want you to watch too.
Yeah.
This is a real scenario, by the way.
2 buildings. When you're on one side of the building, you can't see the other side. There's 500 cars on the lot, and you have to watch every single one. If anything happens to any car
or the buildings,
you're liable and you have to pay for it, and it's going to be at like crazy rates. And we don't have to pay you until you pay for it. So you could be out there working, and it was on net 60. Net 60, meaning that you work today, and in 60 days you'll get the first week of what you work today.
No. in 60 days, if your invoice is correct,
keyword,
we'll pay you.
yeah.
You're not gonna get paid for 120 days. You have to float the whole payroll.
Bro, so
that'll kill you as a small business. That it almost killed us. 500,000. That was a knockout blow. Yeah. Like I couldn't go to sleep. I was smoking cigars back to back like cigarettes outside of my house.
Yeah. That's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing I did have to learn, because once I started getting bigger contracts, I started noticing like I gotta hold a lot more capital. Because sometimes you hit stuff like that towards like, yo, you still got to pay these dudes now. They still working, and you don't want everybody just, let's say, go on a strike and just drop their shit and everything just cut cold turkey.
It happened in Georgia. They had a jail. A security company was running an entire jail, and they owed them about over $1 million. And we gave y'all 15 days. We gave y'all 60 days. We're leaving, and left all the prisoners in there by themselves. And the city the city was trying to say, oh, well, that's against contract. It's also against contract for you not to pay us. Yeah. So
especially a
jail. Come on, bro. That's craziness. But again, you dealing with government. Those guys aren't going to do that. Shit, me. They did it. And you left to hold the bag. So yeah, they might have got sued on the back end, but how long were you going? You got to stop the bleeding. How long are you going to pay out like that? Like, think about this. A guy called us with a contract, and Dwight always says, he said, hey, I got a shit sandwich. You guys want to bite? He called us with a contract. It sounded so sweet. And it was like net 60, a bunch of locations. Guys, they were paying whatever we asked for. I think we billed $80 an hour. Sure, no problem. But you got to wait 60 days. You have to understand it. 24 hours a day in 7 days is 168 hours times 4. So to get to a month, that's one guy. They gave us 10 sites all at the same time at $80 an hour. So we were calling guys like, man, we'll pay you 40, 50. We're making 60.
Y'all making something.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Those people stretched us out. It was supposed to be 30 days, supposed to have the first check. Never happened. 45 days, 60 days, never happened. Meanwhile, we didn't want to pull the guards off because our hand was so far in the lion's mouth, we were trying to ease it out. We said we weren't taking any more sites.
Damn, so they would just you just get.
When they called us with 10 grand, they owed us 500. They called us like, we're gonna send you guys 10,000 a day. You can't even fathom, like, we've ran up a bill now of like 450,000 in payroll, and that money has to come from somewhere, or guys are gonna walk off. So it creates a nightmare. So everything that sounds good from a contractual standpoint is not always good. You got to think, can you last those 90 or 120 days until you get your money?
Right.
Because people are crazy. We do employee termination all over the nation, right? It's kind of like bodyguarding. And part of the reason for that is somebody's unhappy about something and they said they're going to come back and do something. So, you're dealing with security guards. A lot of them are armed, and you think of the psyche behind the person working armed. They're like, I'm coming to get my money. You guys, we know where the office is at. I'm coming. And so you have to deal with all of that. And that's why I said a lot of people aren't up for business. I've seen several guys come and take huge events. Oh, man, I need 100 guys. And then you hear about them, like in the industry, everybody talks. Oh, man, this guy had to leave town. He couldn't pay nobody. 300 guys. So when people call you with things that are too good to be true, just make sure your paperwork is correct. I had guys call us with all kind of stuff. Oh, man, we need 30 guys. We need 50 guys. Okay, you got to do this and fill up. We're not filling out a contract. We not doing it. That's what we say now. When I first started, man, we'll do it. Hey, man, I do business on a handshake. Anybody says that shit, run. Run.
Straight bullshit.
I do it on a handshake. Valor is gone, my brother. It's the day of the internet. So you don't know who you're dealing with or where they're at. It's hard to find people.
Yeah.
So, just keep all that in mind when it comes down to the actual doing the work portion. Is easy. The hard part is collecting your money. People that have mastered collecting money will stay in business. People that have not, ultimately will go out of business because people aren't going to work for them.
Yeah. Well, you got anything to say, bro? Well, I'll tell you like this, bro. This is something that I'm very impressed with. And for you to take the time and build was, because let's just put it this way. 4 years ago, probably like 4 years ago, I remember, there was always rumors of a security app. I used to look down about that because I'm like, okay, the security app, okay, how are they going to specify the people? You know what I'm saying? Because just like you go in an Uber, You know what I'm saying? You get an Uber driver, you don't know who the fuck the Uber driver is. I mean, they do get their little background check. But you do catch every once in a while, it'll have a woman on there and a dude pick you up. You
Car smelling like weed.
Yeah, and it'd be a totally different, what the fuck? You know, or sometimes it even be the damn same car. So that was one thing that I was always, this is before any type of security apps ever came out. Now, I remember there was one that did come out in New York. And that was the one that was like being glorified because they had this, it was all orchestrated to where it was only cops and military. They had it all, you can pick them all the way down to the dress code. And it was like felt like you were playing like the Sims game. You just putting the people together and like, oh, I want it like this. But with you guys, what I'm very impressed with and I admire so much is that you guys created an app, a security app. Fast Guard.
The Fast Guard app.
And this is how, me and you met when we were sitting with our kids, playing football on the field, and you bring that up. I'm like, yo, you came out with a security app? And as we're talking, and I'm still seeing you getting call after call after call. I'm like, yo, damn, your phone is on fire like that? You're getting calls, everything, you know what I'm saying? And not only getting calls, you're getting calls all throughout the damn nation. And I'm like, yo, what am I doing? This is what I've been doing.
It takes time to build a system.
No, of course, and that's why I like I said, I admired, especially being guys being a black man, and being in competition with these big ass corporations that they kind of shade upon that. But tell me a little bit about the app. Tell me the pros and cons because everything ain't gonna go perfect. And I'm pretty sure that person that has that app over there in New York, that shit ain't going perfect as well either. So you creating this great security app that nobody has, you know what I'm saying? And I ran into you, the first person I ran into that actually owns it. And I'm like, yo, you got a fucking app. Both of you guys, tell me how that has worked for you guys.
Creating the app is the idea for the app. That's easy, right? Creating the app, you have to, like Ross said earlier, you have to build a system. And to build a system, you have to think about how you want everything to work. So it's a lot of work. It takes a very long time. You have to think of everything. If this happens, we need this to happen. When this happens and this happens, we want this to happen. If it doesn't happen this way, we need this to happen. If it does happen like this, now we need it to go this way or that way. So once you get that very long and tedious process worked out, that's what it's called the logic, right? But where we differ in our app than most other people that have security apps is we actually have the manpower to have someone show up at your door when you place the order. So we've tried some of these other apps just to see where we compared, and we actually place an order, and we get an error message that says we don't have a guard in your area. Difference is when you use our app and you place the order, someone shows up.
A big difference. And so we're a guard management app that allows you to order security guards. So we're already in the business of last minute security guards. So imagine if Uber was already a taxi cab company. I think a lot of the accidents that were made wouldn't have happened. Like you said, people getting raped in cars, being robbed in cars not showing up with the same car that's on the app. Like all those little kinks would have been worked out because they know the business. This is why with yellow cab, all the cabs are yellow. They want uniformity. Law enforcement, they want uniformity. Imagine what some people would wear to work if police officers were allowed to wear street clothes, right? So it's the same thing with this business. Like we've already been doing this for the last 10 years. We bought the app out the first time in 2017.
Oh, so it's a process.
Yeah, it was a process, bro. And nobody explains to you. Like I'm putting my kids in AI coding now because if you don't understand that language, talking with the people who build apps, it's really confusing. You're essentially trying to talk to somebody who speaks Chinese. Like if you don't understand logic and Python and all of this stuff, you're going to get left behind and they'll call you and ask you, like he said, an option for an option. So, okay, Kevin, the guard walks in, there's an alarm going off, but there's somebody jumping out the left window. What do you want them to do? Okay, what if they jump out the right window? Okay, what if the place is not situated on the map, the front is in the back, but the back is in, like you have to answer all these questions and give answers to scenario based on what you want the guard to do while you're managing them. Complete control is what we hope to achieve and what we've been achieving with Fast Guard thus far. but you have to understand that it takes a small village to run these things. Like, you think that an app is just one guy in a room pressing buttons, but like Uber to operate for Facebook operation, I've seen their operation. You know, it might be 1,000 people working in there. Google said they had to lay off, I think 9,000 the other day. And that wasn't the total workforce. So it might be 40, 50, 100,000 people working to run these major operations. Things always break on apps. So this is like part of the reason I talk to you, because I value something that you bring to the table with the bodyguard deal and with everything that you built in your journey. So I don't have to have that journey. I don't need that expertise. I got you. And I meet people like that all over the nation, and we build like a dragnet of individuals that we can call on. That's how we first we got started.
Yeah.
But we cut out the middleman now. Now it's just direct to customer and direct to that shooter. We're dealing with the actual guards. So we recruit guards. The reason why you see our phone ringing off the hook, we got guards calling in from everywhere. Instead of calling your company and getting guards from you, we'll get guards ourselves and then use you as a backup and say, okay, we need this job done, we need that. And it's a process. You know, recruiting costs a lot of money. We probably invested easily over $1 million in the last year just on recruiting.
$1 million?
$1 million on recruiting, getting people to call. Like, these calls don't happen for free. You have to put the word out.
Yeah. So this is one thing I did want to talk about, because, like I said, I know there's a lot of companies out there, including mine. I make great money. Mm-hmm. But when you started, like when we were talking and you was talking about, I had to spend $8 million this, and I'm like, wait a minute, $8 million? Mm-hmm. Or I had to do this, it was $3 million. I'm like, wait a minute, you talking millions, dog. I never been like seeing another security company like sit down and like discuss it like that, and still be like, openly to, trust me to talk about that. That's why I said, damn, though, I appreciate that. I admire that you kind of opened my eyes out, that motivated me, like, okay, it's possible. Mm-hmm. Like I said, there was one guy that was hitting numbers like that, but he was doing it off the strength of his own, of his own personality.
He was like an owner operator,
kind of like
he had to be there.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But his numbers was hitting them. He hit $1 million. He hit it right before he passed away. Right before he passed away. Mm-hmm. I know you probably know him.
The Shadow Group.
Yep. Uh-huh. So he was the other guy. I used to be up under him, and that's how I learned the whole advertisement thing. Mm-hmm. That's how I learned to advertise myself, because I would see how he was advertising. He had me kind of like his operational specialist, and that's kind of how like I learned a little bit of my system in the beginning, before I got that paperwork of those people. But he taught me the whole setup of how to advertise. I would see him get accounts. He would take me with him. I would be there in the conference room talking with him.
I had dinner with him, by the way, before he passed, of course. But it was a random thing. A guy introduced me. We had mutual friends. But again, when he talked to me, he understood the same thing I understood. Yeah, I'm not hating on your business. Yeah. Man, there's so much money. You talking about security. Security as a whole in the world is like, what, like 400 billion?
It's way too big.
It's crazy.
It's more than that.
And so you're talking about now, I only want 1% of whatever the number of security is like 880 million, right? That's 1%. It's so much money out here. Why would you hate on another man? You got your company. The clients that you deal with, I probably couldn't even touch.
Right. And it's so broad. Like, we didn't even touch on cybersecurity or different other versions of security. Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's so big that it's so much money. So we should be learning off of each other and working with each other. The problem is everybody want to be the chief. Nobody wants to be an Indian. It's like, in order for a structure to work, McDonald's, when they open up McDonald's, if you watch that movie, The Founders, you've seen that different people bought into the franchise. They understood the programming, right? The issue was some people want to have fried chicken because they were in the South. Some people want to have collard greens because they were in another location. It's like, remember the guy went there and was like, no, it's got to be pickles, onions, burger meat, cheese, bun. That's it. When you break the system, you break everything. And so really security needs a union. Security needs to be unionized.
Okay, speaking about a union, Shamir was actually trying to do that. Mm-hmm. He started it small. Mm-hmm. He started it small it was a small group of us. I don't want to say the names of the people that were in that group, but I was a part of that group. Mm-hmm. And the way he did, he had like an assistant. We were all putting money every week or how we were getting paid. We all put our own money in it, in the pot. And we would get, like, at the end of the month, let's just say it's 5 of us, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say we all put $100 a week or whatever into that pot. all $100. At the end of the month, we'll have like a system in order. Okay, we're going to give all the money to Dwight. Let's have Dwight, you're going to invest what you need to do as far as the security field that you want to build up. So you take that money and you build it up with that. Next following month, I'll put in $100 every week again. Boom, okay, now it's your turn. Rod, we're going to give you all the money to what we gain this month, and you're going to build up what you needed to build up. But we're still going to do it so we're all building in the same team. But we're going to have our own unique structure.
That's a coalition.
Yeah.
With that, what I was talking about really
for the
is
union?
but like with the union, it's to control pricing.
Yeah.
You get guys like he was talking about Joe Schmo. I love that guy. I talk about him all the time. But at the same time, you're talking about people that call us, and we're a professional company. We have a building and infrastructure to be ran. We charge this. You got Joe Schmo that doesn't have any of the real licenses. He just jumps online on websites like Bark and says, hey, I do security, and takes a picture with a shirt that says security. And he's saying, I could do that same thing. They want 50. Give me $15. And what that does is skew the numbers so badly that it creates a void where either you want quality or you're going to get somebody that's going to come out there and rob you after they get done working security from you.
So we have this happen all the time. So we'll deal with a client in the beginning, the sales phase, getting to know each other. We give them a price quote. They say, your price is a little high. We're going to go with this company because they gave us a better price. So we had this happen very recently, and I explained to the client, okay, so at that price, here's what you're going to get. And I laid out what would happen in the coming months. About 2 months go by. I get a phone call one morning. Hey, Dwight, it's X customer from X location. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? We want to make a change in our security. If you don't mind me asking, what happened? Her words. Everything that you said would happen happened. When can you guys get in here and get your guys on site? So I told her what the timeline was. She sent the contract. We went through what we had to go through, renegotiated the price, and then sometimes people have to learn the hard way. My dad used to say, if you pay cheap, you pay twice. And unfortunately, they had to pay twice, but we're in there at the right price, and we're doing the job the right way. And the customer's happy, we're happy, everybody's happy. Nice. So,
and also like the analogy with the sheepdog, like in law enforcement, they say law enforcement officers are like sheepdog, which means that you're strong enough to protect the sheep from the wolf, but gentle enough to deal with the sheep, right? And so it's the same thing when you're dealing with like security contracts. You want people that have the right mindset, have the right systems in place, are able to control the guards. Like if you're not getting reports on a daily, if you're not understanding what your guards doing when they're on shift, you're just paying somebody and maybe they show up, maybe they don't. We get customers that call in and say that all the time. Like, I don't even know if they're showing up. They don't tell me anything. It's like, you don't get reports on a daily? No. So all of these things we had to learn over time is what the customer want. We've never had a customer, not once, come back and said, you guys are giving us just way too much information.
You guys are over-communicating. I don't need to know what's going on with what I'm paying you for. Never happened.
So that's the main thing we bring to the game is like, we're going to communicate with you. We're going to, as a customer, you're going to have fanatical, that's your word, fanatical customer service. You're going to deal with individuals that understand what you want as a customer. Like if I pay for something, like jewelry, I pay for jewelry. I want my jewelry to be real. It takes a special type of guy to wear fake jewelry, in my opinion. So the reality is what you're paying for is the craftsmanship. You're paying for whatever carat of gold it is. You're paying for the weight. But you don't want to do that. I just seen they arrested a couple yesterday for selling fake Rolexes. And think about if you went in there and you shopped and you felt good. Like they spent $70,000 on a fake Rolex, probably $100 Rolex. But again, they thought they were getting something. And they didn't get it. So that's what I compare dealing with us and dealing with other companies, even larger companies. Mid-level management completely missed the ball. They can't make any decisions. 9 times out of 10, they won't even answer you. They like dealing with us is because we get about 30,000 calls a month. 30,000 times if I have to answer the phone, if Dwight has to answer the phone, if everybody else, it's all the same consistent, hello, welcome to Fast Guard, how can I help you? Stand by 1 second, we'll get to the bottom of your problem immediately. if it was anything else, we'd probably be out of business. It has to be consistent.
Well, I know you guys are very hands-on. What will be the exit strategy for you guys? Are you always, basically like this, are you guys going to always feel that you're going to have to be hands-on, or is it going to be a point to where, like, you're going to let the machine run itself? Because that's my goal. Eventually, I want to have it to where I can orchestrate the machine runs on its own. I got a guy that's another me. You got your another operational specialist that's running it. You just getting the kickback on the revenue or the interest of whatever you want.
The short and direct answer is yes. It's always going to be hands-on. It may not be our hands, but it has to be hands-on, right? We built the machine, but the machine needs maintenance. Yeah. And the machine requires hands. Like I said, it may not be our hands, but it will have hands.
ChatGPT messes up every now and then. I type stuff in, it come back with an error. So you need people. So you think of there's 62, 61 counties in Florida. If it were that easy, they would have one sheriff department, right? They got a sheriff department in every county. They got city police departments. Some municipalities have it in villages, so they split a city into a subset. So you have to think of security on that same level. It needs to be statewide, then granulated down, countywide, then granulated down, region. That, you know, you have to look at it from that perspective, and you're going to have offices all over the place. So the extra strategy is to continue building, working our way up. We have automation now. Now it's just really running it and make sure we have strategic partnerships in the places that I called you today about a guard in, I think it was Michigan.
Yeah.
You know, it's having people in the area. Hey, we found the guards. We may want your guard just to go check up on our guard. We spy on ourselves. It's the only way to keep yourself at a high level. I try to teach my kids, if you want to be the best, work out like the best. If you don't put the work in, don't be surprised at what you get. Don't be surprised. You get what you pay for, and you get what you work for. So we're really working for perfection in security. It's not impossible. It's just going to take a lot. Like you said, it might not be all our hands, but you have to be hands-on. You need to deal with somebody that's hands-on. I don't want to deal with security that somebody's going to call me back a week later. So I need your personal phone number, and I need to contact you anytime, day or night.
So hands-on to the point that, so we touched on the app earlier. Another thing that we did was we created our own CRM. So there's a lot. CRM is. So that's a customer relationship management. So like, you know how you have Salesforce or HubSpot or places like that. So we had a company that we were using for like guard management software. And then one night we were out, I can't remember where we were, but we had an epiphany. Well, who can tell us how to manage our guards better than us? So we engaged a company to design our own CRM and design our own guard management software. So we don't pay I'm not even going to say their name, but we don't pay another company that has certain parameters that you can and cannot do. We've designed how we want our system to run internally, and then we control how our guards operate. We control when they check in, how they check in. We have a geofence. We know where they are at all times. At the end of every shift, the client gets a written report of what happened on the shift. So if you hired us to manage your warehouse and you had security 24 hours a day and we split it up into 3 8-hour shifts, at your choice, you can tell us, Dwight, I would like daily activity reports every day, every week, or every month. So if it's daily, you'll get 3 reports a day. If it's weekly, 7 times 3, you'll get 21 reports a week. So you'll know on September 5th at 8 a.m., John found an intruder. John called the police, and you'll have that immediately. And we designed that. Like,
that's good. Yeah, that's
just like with the app, we had to say we wanted to do this. If this happens, we need this to happen. If this happens, it needs to be a mass text message, and a mass text message that goes out to all the management group. And then if this happens, it needs to be an automated phone call. It's a lot. It took a lot of time. It cost a lot of money, but it was worth it because now we have full control and we have that automation. But so we're a little bit more hands off in that arena, but we still have to be hands on because things break, things happen.
That's what slaps people back down to reality is when they hear that pricing behind building something and they look at the time because you got to put both in. So now you got to take money that you may not have and spend it on something that you really don't have the time to sit down daily. It's like what we're doing now on the podcast. We had to talk, FaceTime. Hey, this is how we want it to work. Right. This is the logic. Okay, come back. Well, what if this happened? Oh, well, let's jump on another Zoom. And it was a year or two of that just to get everything to where it's at. So it's a lot of work, and it's an investment of time and money. But the issue is you can still spend the time and money and never come close.
Right.
So you gambling with everything.
Yeah.
Yes, but you have to at least take a progressive step. I believe automation is the way of the future. That's the exit plan. There's no exit plan. We staying in here.
Staying in the game.
Yeah, we gonna stay in the game.
Hands on.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I bring up Allied Universal all the time. When I seen that they purchased G4S for $5.2 billion.
They merged them.
You would know they purchased it. They merged them, but G4S still up, but $5.2 billion. That set the new ceiling for me. I said, $5.2 billion? What contracts did they have? And so I started doing my research. I was like, wow, okay. And that means Allied is huge.
Yeah.
If they're making purchases for that money, it's a big deal, but that tells you where the ceiling is. Like that your company that you have right now, it started out, that's what it could grow up to be.
Yeah.
So you're planting the seed right now. And the same thing I looked at, I don't worry about nobody here local. I don't worry about nobody in the United States. I worry about the big boys only. I'm only chasing that. Because if you reach for the stars, you fall somewhere and out there in the planets, you're getting kind of close.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Well, I know, so far as Allied, I know at first, mind you, this is when I was younger. I used to work for them. It was Allied Barton. And they were only hiring ex-law enforcement and military because they were doing the government contracts. I worked with them for a little bit. I really didn't like those posts. Bro, you're in FPL buildings, like, they lock you in. Make sure you can't leave. That was the crazy part for me. I'm like, damn, y'all lock us in the damn gate to where if emergency happens, we can't get the hell up out of here? I mean, I'm going to get up out of there.
Well, people seem to not have a thought process.
You lock the fucking gate, bro. Like,
people aren't realistic. Some things like critical infrastructure, okay, it's going to be real tight, stringent. A jail, going to be real tight, stringent. But people call us like we have guards like hanging up in the closet. Hey, how long would it take to get a guard out here? I said, well, give me about 30 minutes. I'll give you ETA. You don't have a guy ready right now?
If you can't get someone here in 30 minutes, I don't need it.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
You're an hour outside of the closest city? Yeah, just let us work on it.
Let me ask you, so it was Allied Barton first, right? They merged with Allied Universal.
It was Universal Industrial Services that merged with Allied Barton.
So it became
Allied Universal.
Is it still Allied Universal, or is it now?
Yeah, it's AUS, so Allied Universal Services. But remember, they do HVAC, they do maintenance, building operations, property management. They do everything. They do jails around. That's what G4S specialized in. They do prisons.
G4S, that was the next one in line.
They used to be Whacking Hut.
G4S used to be Whacking Hut. In another lifetime, I actually met Miss Whacking Hut, the husband that passed away, and I had a long conversation with her about how her husband started the business. It was really interesting. I tell you that.
So. It's a lot of opportunity out here. This is a multi-billion, what we're sitting here talking about, multi-billion-dollar business. We talking about 1%, $880 million. We have in our Rolodex $500 million worth of quotes that were sent out to clients. So that's a big Rolodex, a big black book, right? That's us. Think of how many other domain names there are on the internet, your company. It's money out there for everybody. What matters is everybody has the same license. What matters is the infrastructure and who you're talking to. Do you want to talk to a real person, a real human being? When you call, you getting this person on the phone? Or do you want to talk to, you might not get somebody on the phone. They may fall asleep on duty. They don't have the system set up correctly. That's what makes a difference in security, I believe.
Okay. Well, hey, guys, Rod, Dwayne, this has been a good,
Dwight. Dwight around your lips.
Dwayne is my guy in one of my accounts.
It happens from time to time.
He just texted me. That's why I said Dwayne. Dwight, I'm sorry, man. It's been a pleasure with you guys, man. I really enjoyed it. I got a lot of information, learning from you guys. I continue learning from you guys. Just keep calling me keep calling us at me being a third party. You know what I'm saying? Just to build a rapport and a relationship. You guys have any questions or anything?
I wanted to make a statement on air. You know, you can reach us online, www.fastguardservice.com, or by phone at 844-254-8273 or 254-GUARD. Or you can reach us on the App Store. You can download the Fast Guard app. But I mean this from the bottom of my heart. There's enough money for everybody. We wish you nothing but success. So keep doing your thing, Kev. You're doing a good job on the show. We love it.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Hey, guys, this is the House of Fame podcast, man. I'll see you on the next one.